Rim jobs for the boys in blue.
No,
Today
that's not going to be the new song.
Today is not a happy day, everybody. Welcome back to episode 67. Don't give me that face.
I'm really happy, man.
No, I'm disappointed.
What did I do?
No, it's nothing you did.
Then who?
It's not all about you, kid.
Well,
all right?
then why can't I be happy?
Can I talk? I'm Steven Suptic.
I'm James DeAngelis.
I'm Jacob Danzelis.
I'm Autumn.
That's Modem.
So why can't I be happy today, Steve?
You can't be happy today because a terrible thing has happened.
Are you talking about the crash of the Viking?
No,
ship?
I'm not talking about my car crash.
Apple stock crash. It's really a downer.
Have you invested in Apple?
I did for a little bit.
And then you
On rather
pulled out?
I
Yeah,
did because I made some
actually-
money, and then I was like $4.
What'd you do
That's
with that? What'd you do with that $4?
A burger.
Bought a couple Pokeballs. on Pokemon
Do you know
Go.
what's crazy? I guess technically, because I hold so many shares in Apples, I think I technically have majority hold in Apple.
Apples?
I thought you did in apples.
In apples, yeah, no, the fungus.
Who put the fucking?
I know.
Who put the?
Is that a menorah? Is that what that's called?
Who put the Jewish thing there?
Hell yeah.
You know? Did Sammy Jo come into the office?
Yeah, she did a little decorating, man. So what?
No, terrible news. Terrible news. So we're gonna play some.
Everyone's happy. No, terrible news.
No,
terrible
we're gonna.
news.
Play,
You're peeking.
We got terrible news. So we're gonna play some.
Still not
We're gonna play some music to coincide with terrible news.
Cool.
Come on, man. It's just in our ears, though.
Dude.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. There are allegations against him. No.
Dude, you can't laugh and say that, man.
Let me. Okay.
Steve, you can't laugh.
Sorry.
Just wait, before you do it again, but you can't laugh and say that.
No, of course.
Cut the music down 25%. Build it up. Build some suspense in there, dude. Do like how I talked to you
Guys,
last night.
something terrible has happened, and it's Neil deGrasse Tyson. There are allegations against him. Come on, Neil. Dude, the one guy.
The one guy. No, there are many
There's
guys.
many guys
He's the
that we
one
don't
guy who
want.
I was. I
Who I was like, there
it.
probably could. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Did you ever see him talk to anyone?
Listen,
Here's the thing. Let's talk about the facts first, because this is what we do here at Beyond the Pine. We talk about facts, all right?
Today we're getting this right.
We do our research starting about 20 minutes before the podcast when we were scrambling to start late because we had to do some research. We do our research here. We
I
know
did
the
research
facts.
last night.
We do everything. You don't know anything ever. Sorry, that was me.
You don't do anything ever.
You didn't do anything ever.
we finally did research before talking about something.
Did we do a
Even
lot?
though we knew a
No.
lot. No, I mean 5 minutes.
We
of
read
research.
one NPR article.
We read one article.
But it was as unbiased
To be
as it
fair,
could be.
Steve sprung this on me 2 minutes before I walked into this room.
Autumn
so
hasn't
I don't
known
know
what
the
has
fuck's
happened
going
in the
on.
news for probably a couple of years now.
At least.
What's the last news article you've read?
Are you source
9/11.
fed?
9/11.
She's still unsure.
No, I only read one thing about it, so I don't know.
Could have been bullshit.
No sources to really back it up.
So it's true. Neil deGrasse Tyson has 3 allegations at this time.
Count them.
Thrice the allegation?
Thrice. It's unfortunate. I looked up to Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Did you?
Oh yeah, who didn't?
I didn't
Who
look
wouldn't?
up to him.
I didn't like.
I just
yeah,
didn't give a
I
shit
don't
about
think
him, to be honest.
I don't think I looked up to him. I liked hearing him talk about space shit.
Yes.
But
Some of the
there are
stuff he
other people
said
that I actually look up to.
sometimes-
True.
Kind of made him seem like an asshole. But he seemed very smart also.
Yeah, he's very intelligent.
That's a great point. Absolutely. Like some of the shit that he says and the way he says it, I'm just like, all right, dude,
Yeah.
chill. And then, but I'm also like, that's sick. That's a fact.
Yeah.
But
That's
also,
a
you're
fact.
so much smarter than me,
Yeah.
so go off.
But we'll hold off opinions until after we present the case, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, usually I watch his stuff and
'Cause
then
I
he'll
have
say
some-
something and be like, this doesn't help me. Click off. And that's how I am for pretty
Yeah,
much
I don't
all our
care about
videos
Pluto.
too. Yeah. He does though.
He does.
And
So
we'll soon find out why.
Perhaps too much.
I'll read the allegations from an NPR article. Now, NPR, usually unbiased.
National Public Radio.
True.
Oh, that's what it stands for.
Nonprofit Republic.
Yeah.
My company. I have one as well.
It's
Called NPR.
not non-profit Banana Republic.
So 3 women have come forward with accounts of experiences with Tyson that disturbed them, according to the website Pathos. The most recent episode was earlier this year. Ashley Watson worked briefly as an assistant and driver for Tyson while the show Cosmos was filmed in Santa Fe, New Mexico. She says that on May 16th, as the show was just about to wrap up production, Tyson invited her to join him in his apartment for wine in the evening after work. Now, that's
Well, there you go, right there. Let's take it let's
step at a time.
Pause right here. You invite. So she was a PA or an assistant? Okay,
yeah.
so a PA is an assistant. Was it? And she would drive him around and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you have an assistant who is probably a younger, hungry, up and coming, wanting to work in the industry, doing everything they can, working all these jobs, working hard to make a name for herself, right? And so you have the man who heads this show, an idol to many people, saying, "Hey, how about just you come over to just my house and we'll have some wine and cheese and we'll just talk."
I don't think he even told her about the wine and cheese thing. So let me.
I thought he did. I'm pretty sure he said wine.
Here.
He did leave out the cheese.
Which is the one she should have flipped it and say, "Come over for some cheese."
You want me to come over and have some cheese?
Yeah.
I got a great rubaloid.
A rubaloid?
It's my only cheese.
So Watson tells NPR that she went because she thought he wanted to talk about her continuing to work as his assistant when the show moved on to filming in Europe. Instead, she says he put on music by Nina Simone, opened a wine, and began pulling cheese from the fridge. She recalls that he had taken off his shoes and was wearing a tank top. And she is quoted, "I remember thinking, this is a lot of skin for me to be seeing on my boss. The vibe was just kind of weird." She says Tyson spoke about the stresses of his job and how he needed a release.
Yeah.
Now, Autumn, pretend this is like in the beginning stages of you working at Sugar Pine 7, and you're still at your place in Woodland Hills. I'm still at my place in Woodland Hills. Alyssa's gone one evening because he's married at this point, I believe. Right, Jamie?
Is he?
I'm gonna find out.
What year was this from?
This was,
I believe he was married. Yeah.
yeah.
We'll go with that story.
We'll go with that until Jamie tells us otherwise.
Yeah.
Even if he's not.
Yeah,
This still plays, even if he's not.
it's still inappropriate.
Pretend I've invited you over. You think it's to finalize your job as an editor. Instead,
She's getting pissed.
I have a tank top on, and the shoes are coming off. The shoes are off.
That was what you did anyway. All
Okay,
the
a
time.
little different because we work in a lot more casual. Of
well,
an-
Okay,
of an-
pretend I'm Neil deGrasse
You're not
Tyson.
wearing shoes
pretend
right
I'm,
now.
Pretend I'm goddamn Neil deGrasse Tyson. You're editing Cosmos or some bullshit. I don't know. And you're over at Neil deGrasse Tyson's. I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson. And my shoes are off. The shoes are coming off. Tank top is on.
Yep.
I'm showing too much skin in your eyes. And
Wine's out. Cheese is out.
Cheese
Cheese is out for the boys.
I pull a fresh bottle of wine out of the freezer. And
fresh bottle of cheese.
Squash bottle of rubaloid.
Yeah, I've got some Aguda coming out of the fridge, and I'm
Nice.
Good is good.
chopping
Good is a
it
good
up,
choice, though.
good.
and I put it out on the table, and I sit across from you on the table. What's the first thought that comes to your mind? I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Stop so long ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So we are right. This is uncomfortable.
Case
It's an
settled.
uncomfortable
It's totally inappropriate, and like you can't not know that comes off way more inappropriate even if in this ideal world, if it was just an innocent gesture of hanging out, it comes off so inappropriate, and you just have to know that. And I think that he's like socially inept in
I'm
certain
sure he's
ways.
socially
I
inept,
think
but
that
I'm
he
pretty
is.
sure he was trying to get laid.
Oh, totally.
Well, look,
I think so. But who knows?
You don't think to yourself, she's a really hard worker. I would like for her to, continue working on the show in future seasons or whatever. How can I just kind of like make that known to her? How could I, make it a special
Tank
little
top,
thing?
wine and cheese.
Okay, I'll wear a tank top. I'll take my shoes off. Yuck.
Roadhead.
I'll bring.
Roadhead.
I'll coerso into Roadhead. No, and then
You wanna go for a drive?
but look, just looking at the train, like the process of thought that's going on there, where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna bring out some wine because what does wine do? It gives
It'll
you a
make her
buzz. It'll make you
comfortable.
drunk and
It'll make her
comfortable.
comfortable.
But why would I
It'll
want her
make
to be
you drunk
drunk?
and come.
Because she's probably uncomfortable because of my muscles are showing.
Yeah, sure. But like, there are many points
So many layers.
in that train of thought where a normal person who didn't have those kind of intentions would have been like, no, that's inappropriate. Several points in that train of thought where you'd say that's inappropriate.
And never say you need a release.
So to touch on the
Never
release
say
thing,
that.
He didn't just say, "Hey, I need a release." As far as I know, it started off as him saying like, humans need releases once in a while.
Still gross.
Doesn't matter.
And
That's
then
like,
it's fucked.
Yeah.
It's fucked. But they only say there that he said, "I need a release." But it pretty much is just
they
that
got
bad.
the point across with
It did. That is the
doesn't matter
point.
how
That's
much.
what he said.
Look, it doesn't matter how much context
Yeah.
you put around that phrase.
What he
I need
said.
a release.
Now,
That doesn't matter.
here's the end off to that night, or the send off to that night. Later, as she was leaving, she says Tyson said he wanted to show her a Native American handshake that involved feeling each other's pulses and staring into each other's eyes to make a spiritual connection. Watson, it's
No
in the
pulse.
wrist. In the
That
wrist.
was the same night?
Yeah.
I thought that was a separate thing
same
at
night.
work.
Watson says she did this for about 10 seconds, but was extremely uncomfortable and says she thought to herself, "You're supposed to be very smart. Why can't you pick up that I don't want to touch you right now?" I feel like at that point he knew he wasn't getting laid, and the handshake was just a stupid thing in his brain that he thought would be cool.
Or he thought, you know what, this is cool, and maybe that will turn her around.
It's one of those two
so
options.
he goes, give me your hand, Steve.
The
He
dude-
goes like this. This is what he's thinking.
But even before that, he's like, last ditch effort.
Yeah,
What's
so-
going to get her?
So come
This.
here. You're the girl. This is what Neil deGrasse Tyson's thinking.
No, it's like this. It's,
Oh, okay.
And he touches the wrist for the pulse.
So he goes,
So it's a normal handshake.
and then he goes, he's looking into her eyes, and he goes,
Dude, this is a
he
terrible
goes-
thing to do
he
to
goes like
anyone.
this.
No, wait, he's like this. He's like this. He's like, release.
This is just a fucking awkward, weird guy who doesn't know
Yeah,
how to
but
hit on a
it gets
girl.
worse. It
Oh,
actually gets
no.
worse. Later, as she was leaving, she says, "Oh no, that's the same article or same thing." She also says he put both hands on her shoulders and told her that he wanted to hug her badly, but if he did, then he would just want more.
Dude,
Guilty.
stop.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Guilty.
Come on, man.
Fuck off.
I'd continue hugging you, but I'd want more.
I'd want more hugs.
And that's the only way that could be said
Come
is
on.
with that intention.
How
and-
could you
and
say
that,
it any different, right?
There's no other meaning. You'd want more what?
Let's try. I'll try to make it seem
Yeah,
as
would
innocent
you
as
say that
possible.
to your mom?
Check this out.
Would you? No. No.
I'd hug you, but I'd want more.
No.
Dude,
That makes me so
that
mad.
means one thing only. I'd hug you, but I'd want to put it in your butt. I know it.
I know it.
So
I
Watson
know it.
says
No, that's how I'd
she
feel
says
in
she
that
was
moment.
shaken by the interaction, but felt like she needed references and recommendations, so she planned on just working the last few days of the Cosmos filming. The next night, however, in the car, because she's his PA, she drives him around places. She says that Tyson told her that she was too distracting to work as a producer.
Jesus.
That's such a bad thing.
Yeah, as much as we're like laughing
true.
about the situation and everything too, it is very sad for that girl to have to like be sexually harassed like that.
Oh,
like that's so
it's-
sad.
It's fucked.
but
like,
yeah, this
and
is just
for-
a comedy podcast.
for
everybody.
oh yeah,
So
exactly.
everybody
I mean,
knows. 'Cause
everybody
we're laughing
knows.
about it, but like,
Look, we're not gonna sit here and be like, yeah, because we're not that
Exactly.
kind
It's
of
a fucking
podcast.
comedy
Look,
podcast.
we're
It's horrible.
What we're laughing at is this fucking
Is a
guy.
fucking dumbass.
Is this dumbass creep?
he's the
who thinks-
stupidest guy too.
and he doesn't know
anything.
He doesn't know anything about Pluto, dude. He doesn't know anything about Pluto.
Nothing.
No, but look, like, it's a terrible fucking thing. That
It's so sad that she has to go through
to, and then she loses out on a job because it didn't go the way he had planned.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's fucked. Fuck him.
She had
Piece
to be
of shit.
sexually harassed for him to weed out that he can't fuck her, and then she has to lose her job because
Yeah.
she won't fuck him.
If this is true, that's
so
literally it.
fucked.
She didn't fuck him, and she didn't get to keep her. I mean, she was
Like-
going to quit anyway because she was uncomfortable, but even still, he told her that she was too distracting to work as a producer. He was going to let her go, but she quit that same day, and she didn't. She told one of the show's producers why, and he asked whether she wanted to file a formal complaint. She said she didn't want to make a fuss. Instead, they agreed that she would explain her abrupt departure by saying she had a family emergency.
That's so sad.
In his, so that's we'll get to Tyson's statements.
I want to
later.
know more about that interaction though, because I guarantee it wasn't as simple as that. You know, if you go to the, who did she talk to? She talked to her boss about that.
She talked to one of the
HR?
show's producers.
Okay,
Oh.
so she talked to a producer who'd probably produced that show the whole time. It probably is a little high up in like producing that type of show. You know what I mean? And so I guarantee it wasn't like, yeah, this thing happened with Neil. He was a creep. He tried to like sexually, harass me and stuff like that. I guarantee it wasn't like, oh man, that sucks. You want to file a complaint? I guarantee it was like, well, he was probably
He
like,
probably recommended
no.
she not
Yeah.
file a complaint.
Yeah.
And keep
That's-
it quiet because
try to
she
hush
knew
that up. Yeah,
The producer
exactly.
knew there'd be drama involved
yeah.
for the show.
Well, then why
for
did
her.
she tell NPR that that's what the producer said?
Well, she said that he asked if she wanted to form.
Like, if she's coming out about allegations against Neil deGrasse Tyson, why does she give a shit about
That's
keeping
true.
a producer safe at this
that's
point?
true. Yeah.
I just don't see it going, that nicely.
Yeah, I imagine the producer cares more about the show, but
And
who
his
fucking
job.
knows? Like that's us assuming the worst because the world is awful. But you're right.
mean, a lot of
she
people
would
that-
report that, I imagine, unless she wants to work again. Also, like
Yeah, a lot
you know
of people
what I mean?
in
That
these
could be another
situations
thing.
don't want to report it because it can ruin their career. It's a terrible thing.
Yeah.
So I believe that the producer was probably like, you want to file a formal complaint? I don't see why a producer wouldn't do that. They'll get other jobs.
Because it'd be bad for the producer if she came out saying the fucking producer tried to make me not file a complaint too. So
Like, why would she keep him safe when Neil deGrasse Tyson, the guy at the top, isn't?
Well,
Yeah.
we don't know who this producer is.
yeah, also because the producer, you know what I mean, can control if someone gets a job.
I don't
or
know.
not,
I was just
too.
thinking that like it could have been one of those things where it's like, yeah, do you want to file a complaint? I can't promise it's going to be a good idea, but we can do it. You know, type of
Mhm.
thing where it's like,
Can't promise it's going to be a good idea.
yes, this is a gun.
So we'll get to. It doesn't say the other bad things in this.
I got a
NPR.
bad feeling about this.
That's what Neil deGrasse Tyson says to himself after she leaves.
She leaves, the door closes. I got a bad feeling about this. And then this. You were right about your feelings. What do you got for us, Steve?
I'm trying to find the one about the drugging and raping.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was from back in the 80s, right?
It was a girl that he apparently briefly dated.
So here's another one that's not the drugging and raping one. A colleague. Oh, so this doesn't actually.
Tattoo?
Yeah, it's the tattoo one. So this one is he was drinking at a party, and another a girl came up to him to say hi, and he noticed that she had a tattoo of the solar system, and he's so obsessed with Pluto. It doesn't make sense.
Because there was a
Like,
change something. There was something that changed in Pluto, right? Or something.
No, it didn't
I don't
get
know
counted as a planet anymore.
That's what he was, yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, oh.
It was demoted.
She had the solar system on her arm, and he was looking for Pluto.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. Well, you said she was looking at Pluto, but
He was looking
for
for.
more.
He was looking for Pluto
in the solar system.
because that's what he does. Because that's what he does.
That's what he's searching to see if it still exists.
Yeah, it's just something that, and essentially he pulled down or went up the sleeve to look at it and get a better look.
Where was it? It was
There's-
like
I
on
think it
her-
was on her
She
arm.
had a
Her
dress that
upper arm.
ended right here, and I think the tattoo is here of the solar system. And there's actually pictures of him holding her arm at the party, and he's like pointing and looking at it. And she said that he lifted up the dress here to look and see if she had Pluto on there, if she considered it, a planet.
Now, this isn't to take away from how uncomfortable she said she felt.
Yeah, no,
and
it's
how
horrible.
uncomfortable she was during this. I don't think he did that with malintent. As bad as it is to do that without someone's permission, I think he's just
It's that
socially so
socially-
stupid.
Yeah,
that
which is
he-
not an excuse for it.
No, it's not at all.
At all,
He's just
yeah.
inebriated. And
He's like, Pluto,
and
did
he's-
she have it?
And yeah, exactly. And it's just like the worst move he could have made, and it's not okay that he
He should
did
have
it.
asked. He should have said, like,
Yeah.
do you have Pluto on there? Instead of, can I
And then she would have been like, yeah, I do. And then a normal person would have been like, cool. But he's like,
or may I see it?
even
of-
that's not cool. That's
Where is it?
Oh, come on. Oh, where is it?
That's exactly
Ripping layers of dress away.
skin off.
Found it.
So that's number 2. And then
Dude, Neil deGrasse Tyson panicking about nothing.
Where is it? I love the peeking. Where is it?
but before we get into the third
third,
allegation
yeah.
and the most heinous one, Jamie, while I'm doing this ad, can you find a good article, a good one, not fucking Daily Mail
I'm doing it.
Fuck, they're all Daily Mail.
on the
Delete.
on the rape allegations?
Also, he's been married since 1988.
He's been married since 1988. Thank you, Jamie.
That's like 300 years.
Remember, no goddamn Daily Mail. Love you, Daily Mail.
I'm going to Daily Mail.
So we've got a sponsor here.
Speaking
to
of all
lighten
these
the mood a little bit.
allegations, now's a great time.
It's like,
I want to give a brief thanks to Quip for sponsoring our podcast today. Very much appreciate it, Quip. You guys have been with us for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone have any Quip stories about when they used Quip or how I don't? Is anyone going to make fun of me or boosh me
boosh.
because I don't brush my teeth enough?
Boost yourself.
Just wanted to get it out of the way before anyone else says that I don't brush my teeth enough. I know.
Fair.
I have a
You have a boosh?
Kib.
boosh.
Awesome. So
Thank you, Kib.
there's a buzzy gift on everyone's list this year. What do you guys think you want for
Nintendo
Christmas?
DS.
What do you want for Christmas? Wrong. You want Quip.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's something they'll use twice every day. It was featured on Oprah's O List and her A-Ring, and it's perfect for everyone with a mouth. This it gift is Quip, an electric toothbrush designed to make brushing better. Now I'm going to motivate you guys to get Quip. Don't
All
be
right.
like me.
Do it,
Don't
do
do
it.
what I do.
Do it.
I literally use you as like a.
Oh, as a
You're
no-no.
the before in a someone one of
In a
those-
meth
One of
picture.
those fucking meth pictures.
Lost all
Every
their
time I'm
teeth.
brushing my teeth, I think about you and I just go.
You see me in the mirror with no teeth. My teeth are falling out. Blood is just going into the sink. Sorry.
Yeah, I smell your coffee breath from here, dude, and you're not even facing me.
So, Quip has sensitive sonic vibrations, gentle enough to keep your gums to keep your sensitivity.
To keep the sensitivity.
No, it's gentle enough on your sensitive gums, and it has a built-in timer with guiding pulses to remind you when to switch sides. I could use that. Quip makes holiday travels easy and clean with a multi-use cover that mounts to mirrors and
Yeah.
unmounts to slide over the bristles for on-the-go brushing. Now, I actually stopped using my downstairs
years
toothbrush.
ago.
I stopped using my downstairs toothbrush because I tried to fix my sink and all the gunk exploded over it because it had fallen onto the ground, and that's why I stopped for like a couple months.
You could just get a new one, man.
But Quip doesn't require a clunky charger and runs for 3 months on one charge. Like my vibrator, Quip is the gift that keeps refreshing, with brush heads automatically delivered on a dentist-recommended schedule every 3 months for just $5. And you can even gift prepaid refills for a year to make sure they're never getting old, worn out, or ineffective.
Hell yeah, dude.
I'm
What the hell
so
do you know about toothbrushes?
I'm so stoked for you to get up on that.
Quip is one of the first electric toothbrushes. Can I finish? I just get really mad at Autumn. Quip is one of the first electric toothbrushes accepted by the American Dental Association and has thousands of verified 5-star reviews.
James lives in LA.
Say why you love Quip and why you might think Quip is a good gift. Well, I will. Quip is a good gift because I need it, and it suctions, and it has electro pulses, guiding pulses.
Come on, dude, use that improv
Basically
skill,
what they
man.
said
Come
in there-
on.
I'm being serious.
I'm being
However, if,
Great, dude. We just lost Quip.
if Alyssa got me Quip for Christmas, I would be offended, but
You have a Quip
They
toothbrush.
send us packs, man.
exactly.
monthly.
No, I'm saying exactly. I would be offended because I already have one, and she
Then why
didn't.
don't you
and
use
she,
it?
She wouldn't realize that because I lost it.
Well then, again,
Because I lost the fucking thing,
You said
man.
you haven't brushed for months. Every month they send us one, man. You lose those too.
They send us the brushes. They don't send us the electric part.
Use the fucking brush then, man.
What am I? A mini guy
No,
with mini fingers? Duh.
no, you're a guy that doesn't brush.
Well, that's why I love Quip and why they have over 5,000 verified 5-star reviews. Quip looks like a big ticket TEF gift. Quip looks like a big ticket tech gift with a stocking stuffer price starting at just $25. And if you go to getquip.com/pine. Oh my God, dude. Getquip.com/pine. Right now, you get your first refill pack for free with a Quip electric toothbrush.
Boosh.
But you don't have to tell your giftee that, how little you spent on it. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/pine. Thank you, Quip, and I'm so sorry.
Thank you, Quip. Oh, goodness gracious.
The third allegation, Jamie, did you get an article?
Really quick, the funniest thing is like it's only peaking for us. It's not peaking for them. So we laugh at when we all do it. They're just like, what the fuck are they laughing about?
Maybe not.
We'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised. We'll find out very soon. Thank you, Quip. Truthfully, that's actually a really funny way to do ad reads. If we can get it all out, but we make it like
Fun.
a funny interaction like that.
I think
where
that's
we
what
still-
it should have been forever, and that's
Yeah.
what they wanted.
Well,
always.
we're learning. You know, this
Yeah.
is like what? We've only done 67 podcasts, dude.
That's nothing.
That's
dude.
actually nothing. Podcasts that
dude.
blow up have done. Joe Rogan's on like 1,120.
More.
And he does one a year.
True.
Yeah. Oh, does he really? 1 a year?
He's been doing it only for like
yeah.
1,000 years.
Really, 1 a year?
Really, 1 a year?
What else is he going to do them for?
Anyway, so me and Kid
Jamie,
are gonna
this
hang out
article does
later.
not explain what I wanted.
Fuck you, Steve.
It's supposed to be the Neil
Jamie.
deGrasse.
There's not a lot of info about her.
Yikes, dude. Jamie's changed, man.
She's mentioned
He's
like
Jamie,
got- he's
Jamie
let-
started off loco. Thanks for G4 Pilots Houston. Knows fucking for first band name basis. This is one of those fun podcasts.
Did
But
Steve
back to the
really
allegations.
Did you really lose your toothbrush
No.
for 3 months?
No.
Yes.
God, no.
Don't believe
I lost my
you.
Quip toothbrush, that's true.
Oh,
But
okay.
I'll usually just end up stealing one of Alyssa's toothbrushes,
Do
and then
this.
she gets mad. She has like
Oh.
8
this.
toothbrushes.
Because you have an impacted wisdom tooth, man.
Does that still
You're gonna get
hurt?
infected.
2.
Also, no one
Two
should share
impacted wisdom
toothbrushes ever. Doesn't matter who the fuck you
No,
are.
in a
no,
while.
no, no, no. I steal them and I don't give them
If
back.
you have to.
Because she has like
Once
8.
a year, I mean. Like, if there's a rare circumstance where you need to. Steve and I have shared toothbrushes years ago.
It's disgusting.
But also, Alyssa will know that I've used it and she won't use it again because I'll, instead of keeping it, on the little toothbrush holder,
You keep it in your ass.
I'll keep it in my ass or it'll have fallen out onto the counter.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be bothered to slide it into that hole to
We
get
have
it
one
back
of those
in.
too, and I always just fucking throw it in
And
there.
it falls out. The holes are too
does
big
fall
in
out.
mine.
Mine are
you
good
know?
size, but
Somehow it finds a way.
Mine are fine. Mine. What is the matter with you guys? Mine's fine.
You get what you,
I just
you
put
get what
it
you
in and
paid
it's
for, man.
fine.
you put it in correctly. Steve and I fucking throw it in.
I try to make it.
Sammy
A,
Joe gets mad.
I try to make it a game like Autumn.
I don't actually always do it. Just do it. I have done that.
I don't always do it. I just have done that.
So we do have the third allegation. All I have is a quote, but essentially it's a drugging and raping thing. This is a quote from her. I woke up in his bed. I was naked. When he saw that I had woken up, he got on top of me and mounted me, and I passed out again, Ahmet said of the alleged rape. I didn't tell anyone because when I had been in undergrad, I had some issues of molestation by a student and a faculty member. And when I went to report it to the authorities, they both told me not to say anything because it would ruin the person's life. Whoa. So that's sad.
Meanwall, her life is ruined
That's
by
so
it.
fucked. So fucked. And that was a girl that he dated briefly in grad school.
What I don't understand, that thing to say, oh, don't say it, it's going to ruin their life or their career. Hey, it ruined my life that it happened to me.
Yeah, it's like people just completely
fuck?
don't think about that at all. You're fine.
I feel bad for only briefly glossing over that one.
There's
but
just not too much
I
on
can't
there.
find.
Yeah.
Not much information.
He did. What was his response to that? I believe he just said like that did not happen.
No, I think that he said, that didn't happen, that he saw the picture and the name of the girl and said that he didn't even know who that was.
He didn't recognize her, but then he remembered that he did date her, and now she's like married and has kids, as if that was part of his like defense. Interestingly enough, he's like,
That's very sneaky.
it was weird.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
it was.
very like
That's what I mean. He's
subtext.
he's
a smart
intelligent.
guy.
Yeah, a lot of his wording for
Wow.
this shit is very like
Without
he's explaining it to make it seem like, well, this is what I thought it was, and that doesn't that make sense to you guys?
and then him saying like, oh, she, has a wife or she has a family and kids and all that. By saying that in such a like blasé way, it's like
as if she.
being like, oh, she was obviously fine from it, but it's like not bringing attention to the fact that he's trying to convince you that she's fine from it because she has a family and kids.
I think
Well, let's
his
get to the
game-
response.
But I think his game, real quick, was to say that her life's been fine, and just now she's doing it maybe because he's famous now and she can get money out of him now. Or I imagine that's his game with that. If it's not true, or if it is true, I mean.
Yeah.
What was reporting on this?
or
Like,
not
what
true.
sources were were reporting on this? Because
NPR reported on it.
So many, but the original one with the allegations was Pathos.
And then I read one on ABC.
Yeah, James
Yeah.
made his up totally
So
different.
here's Neil deGrasse Tyson's response. For a variety of reasons, most justified, some unjustified, men accused of sexual impropriety in today's Me Too climate are presumed to be guilty by the court of public opinion. Public opinion court. Here we go. Guilty.
Guilty.
Emotions bypass due process. People choose sides, and the social media wars begin. In any claim, evidence matters. Evidence always matters. But what happens when it's just one person's word against another's, and the stories don't agree? That's when people tend to pass judgment on who is more credible than whom. And that's when an impartial investigation can best serve the truth, and would have my full cooperation to do so. I mean, there probably isn't any evidence of this, so I'm sure
How can there be?
he's more than willing to be investigated. I've recently been publicly accused of sexual misconduct. These accusations have received a fair amount of press in the past 48 hours, unaccompanied by my reactions. In many cases, it's not the media's fault. I declined comment on the grounds that serious accusations should not be adjudicated in the press. But clearly, I cannot continue to stay silent, so below I offer my account of each accusation. The 2009 incident. I am asked by thousands of people per year to take pictures with them. This is the tattoo person. A flattering, time-consuming, but delightful chore. Chore. An asshole-ish thing to say,
Yes,
perhaps.
not a chore whatsoever.
Yeah, we've
a
never said
privilege
that. We've
to have
never
someone
said
who
that.
wants to take pictures with you. A privilege.
That being said, when you're eating, that is a sacred time.
That is a sacred
That's a
time.
sacred time.
But I also can understand if that felt, not for us, but in general, maybe that's their one moment. They may never see someone in their life again, and they love them so much and they need to meet them, maybe a quick, hey, how you doing?
Did you just Heil Hitler when you did that?
No, this was not a Heil. It's a wave.
I thought you were Heiling Hitler.
No,
Sorry.
he was passing him and he said hi.
Okay.
But go ahead, back to this.
As many in my fan base can attest, I get almost giddy if I notice you're wearing cosmic bling, clothing or jewelry or tattoos that portray the universe. Fucking nerd.
Come on,
So
man.
Either scientifically or artistically. And I make it a priority to point out these adornments for the photograph. He uses a lot of big words I have a lot of trouble saying. A colleague at a well-attended after-conference social gathering came up to me to ask for a photograph. She was wearing a sleeveless dress with a tattooed solar system extending up her arm. And while I don't explicitly remember searching for Pluto at the top of her shoulder, it is surely something I would have done in that situation. As we all know, I have a professional history with the demotion of Pluto. Which had occurred officially just 3 years earlier. So whether people include it or not in their tattoos is of great interest to me. I was reported to have groped her by searching up her dress, when this was simply a search under the covered part of her shoulder of the sleeveless dress. I only just learned, parentheses 9 years after, that she thought this behavior creepy. That was never my intent, and I'm deeply sorry to have made her feel that way. Had I been told of her discomfort in the moment, I would have offered this same apology eagerly, and on the spot. In my mind's eye, I'm a friendly and accessible guy, but going forward, I can surely be more sensitive to people's personal space, even in the midst of my planetary enthusiasm. I feel like this one is probably true, because why would anyone do that in public? Especially a guy who's as smart as Neil deGrasse Tyson.
There's pictures of it too, like it happening in the moment. It's not like he wasn't aware that people were taking pictures of him. So I do agree. Again, we don't know. But I do agree that I think that was likely less of a sexual thing than it was more of an interest.
It's Kip's foot. He's reached all the way over here.
Steve's been fucking gnawing
Why he's
at
doing
your
that,
foot
I don't know.
For years. Trying to make some friendly contact with you guys. Okay?
He's clearly socially inept, and that's not an excuse. It's not what he did was inappropriate. But
yeah, you need to ask before you touch someone, especially when you don't know them or have any reason to think that you can touch them without asking them.
What do you think about that one?
I feel weird commenting on it at all because that stuff is so like subjective to what's happening in the moment. I fucking hate like all this stuff. I feel weird commenting on because it's like it's so like it's just our opinions. It's not gonna like
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We don't know what actually happened. So everything that we say is just opinion.
But Autumn, I think what you're failing to realize is that this is the court of public opinion right now.
Right now.
I don't like
guilty
public opinion.
Yeah. I mean,
all rise. Autumn.
Do I have to stand up?
Guilty. Autumn, you're guilty?
No, I know exactly what you mean, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. But, like, Jesus Christ. With the incident that happened back in the 80s with the drugging and raping, I have no clue whatsoever. I don't know enough about it. But, like, that sort of situation where it's explained well on both sides and you actually within their explanations get their perspective on how they felt during it, and I absolutely agree that it's subjective and her idea of personal space might be different than his.
Still inappropriate.
Which, you know, exactly, I'm not sticking up for him at all, but in a situation where you're drinking, it's a party, everyone's trying to be happy and like blah blah blah, and you meet somebody who's a fan of you and you blah, blah, like you think naturally, I feel, as somebody who it would be talking to a fan, that maybe you could get away with a little bit more like jokiness.
You have like a common ground,
or like
you're already closer with them because you share that.
Right, it's like a playfulness.
Imagine actually meeting someone who watches our videos. How would you
No, I was done talking.
react when you, like, if they had a tattoo of SP7?
Yeah. I would be like, I mean, that's different though. That's a tattoo of us where immediately you know they want you to see it. Whereas, like, I don't think she had that with the intent of it meaning anything.
Yeah, she didn't have a solar system, and then one of the planets, as Neil deGrasse Tyson said.
I know what you're saying. If
say.
it was, I'd be like, holy shit, that's so cool. Can I see it? I still would say, can I see it? Like, I really tried.
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
Easily. Well, easily. That's just a natural thing. But this is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
With this, even though I think, sure, he was doing it in the moment as like a thing that he didn't think was bad, but look, like a guy like this, and we've already seen like just other things where you're like, well, why would he do that in this situation? Is he actually stupid and he doesn't understand that this can come off this way? No, I think that there's an intention of flirtatiousness there when he's doing these things. He's not doing them.
There
like,
could be.
That's how I see it. Like, because I'm also just thinking like,
because why would he?
I wouldn't do something.
He did grab her arm. Can I grab your arm?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it looks like. Okay, good to know.
He literally went like that. He literally was like,
cool, right on. Now I know what grabbing an arm looks like. But like, if I were,
I was reenacting.
Dude, I'm so glad you found out what that looked like.
You guys
right?
glad?
Okay.
I had to reenact.
Well, I have to
for you.
change everything now.
Change your
No,
whole
but like,
subject?
if I say, okay, a girl walks up to me, she's like, a Sugar Pine 7 tattoo, and she's like, look at this, and I was single, and I was like, oh, this girl's attractive. I wouldn't go, look at it. I was like, oh, let me see this, and then once she gave me permission to see it, then we'd go from there. But I wouldn't. And then we go from there.
You see how it gets shiny when I touch it? Isn't that amazing?
You see how it gets shiny? But you know what I mean? Like
amazing?
like an intention of flirting in a situation versus a normal interaction. Like there's differences.
Yes.
Right? So
She clearly felt there was
an
something
intention,
inappropriate.
yeah,
there.
and it's like,
Yeah.
hey man, look at this tattoo I got. Isn't it cool? Yeah, that is really sick. Oh, is Pluto on there? Yes or no? And then you go from there. You don't go, oh wow, let me see. Oh wow, let me see. And you see this right here. This is the Cranionilis belt in the universe, and this has all of the spaceship aliens in it in the solar
And
system.
this is the tip of my penis.
And this is the tip of my penis going into your
Uranus.
We're docking, and like I don't know.
What's the Katy Perry thing though that you were mentioning earlier that you? Because
Oh,
I
right.
feel like that leads you to believe that he's just a
Yeah.
semi-flirtatious, creepy guy
yes,
in general.
Yes, and we can link this below if we want to or not. Who
You can
gives
just
a fuck?
YouTube it too. Holy fuck, man! You ruined your shirt.
Why would we link that? Sorry, that's
So-
what I found
I don't
funny.
know, so you could see it?
We're gonna link this video of Neil deGrasse Tyson being creepy.
Dude,
I don't
wipe
think-
your
it was not even
chin.
that funny.
Finally,
We're all laughing at you.
Man.
the
Steve.
right
know,
side of
I
your
know.
mustache looks like it's a mustache.
First of all, I said we could link this if we wanted to show them, or you could just find it,
Let me do-
whatever. Oh my god, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Freak. Anyways, so I don't know who was interviewing who. It was him, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Katy Perry, and they're sitting on a fucking couch, and she's also a fucking loon. Like
Katy
she's
Perry's a
fucking
loon?
weird, dude. Yeah, she's
Oh,
she's
yeah.
I think
she's a
she's cool.
fucking
No, she's not cool.
no. Like
she's
recently,
cool.
like past few years, she's been a fucking like.
Why? Because she shaved her fucking head. You don't
Opinion
like
on Katy
that?
Perry, go.
I don't know.
Guilty.
Anyways, so they're like talking about whatever, and I've only seen like a cut of the interview. I haven't seen like the whole thing, and the cut obviously makes it seem like weirder than I'm sure it does in the whole thing in context. But like when she's not just being like a fucking weirdo, he's like sitting on the couch like this.
Yeah, pretend I'm her.
So we're sitting like this
Yeah.
and asking questions, and he's just like, oh yeah, and he's just, oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, no, that's the
Uh-huh.
that's what the whole universe is about. I mean, think, isn't that? Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah,
That is.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's got like that kind of look.
She only
So
talks and sings.
that could only be one of two things. The way that I see it is one, he's actually a funny guy, and he's doing that to play along with the fact that she's being fucking weird. So he's like doing that to be like, oh yeah.
I don't think he's a
But it's
comedian.
guaranteed not that. It's guaranteed he's being flirtatious because it's Katy Perry.
You guys have seen Neil deGrasse Tyson from like 20 years ago, right?
Hey, he's a big dude.
He's ripped. Football player, I think.
Oh, so he's got that football player attitude. If I can't fuck him,
No one can.
no one can.
Yeah. Let's move on to the summer 2000.
But anyways, it was weird.
Incident.
It was
Yes.
just like awkwardly flirtatious and like
You can tell. You can read it.
you can just
see
simply
something
tell that
and
he's trying to
feel
flirt.
what
Yeah,
it's
I
like.
mean, I don't know.
It just all that just made me think that you're under a very biased impression of him. So the summer 2018 incident.
it's so funny too because I could honestly give a shit about Neil deGrasse
I don't give a
Tyson.
fuck about Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Here's the summer 2018 incident. While filming this past summer, I had a parentheses female production assistant assigned to me to ensure, among her countless tasks, that every ounce of my energy was efficiently allocated to the production needs of the show. As part of this, she was also my driver to and from the studio, ensuring that I arrive on time. In the car, we would review details of the shoot, and she would help me anticipate parts of the shoot to come. Across the many weeks of shooting, she and I spent upwards of 100 hours in one-on-one conversation. Wow. We became so friendly that we talked about all manner of subjects, even social, personal ones, like the caring of aging parents, sibling relationships, life in high school and college, hometown hobbies, race, gender, and so forth. We also discussed...
How old were you in high school?
Pretty young.
Could you do that? Sorry. We also discussed less personal topics in abundance, like rock lyrics, favorite songs in various musical genres, concert experiences, etc. And we also talked about food. I'm kind of a foodie, and her fiance was a chef. In short, we had fun, talkative friendship.
I didn't know she was engaged.
I didn't get that out of the first time I read this.
Mm-hmm.
She is talented, warm, and friendly person. She is talented, warm, and
He
friendly
typed all that.
Oh, that's funny.
Excellent traits for morale on a high-pressure production. Practically everyone she knows on set gets a daily welcome hug from her. I expressly rejected each hug that was offered frequently during the production, but in its place, I offered a handshake. And on a few occasions...
Dude, what the fuck? Hold on.
Say that part again.
Okay. I expressly rejected each hug.
Doubt it.
Dude, hold on. So
No. I expressly rejected each hug offered frequently during the production, but in its place, I offered a handshake, and on a few occasions clumsily declared, "If I hug you, I might just want more." My intent was to express restrained but genuine affection. That's a nice way of putting it. I was trying not to be fucking creepy and piece of shit, but I ended up still.
It sounds like in the most
Socially
fucked up,
awkward.
socially awkward way, he's trying to say that he meant that I'd want more hugs.
This is like a famous
Now,
neckbeard
that could
got
be
power.
so fucking socially awkward that that's true, or he meant it in a sexual way.
He did.
Could be. It could.
Yes.
No. That's It's clear. But this is like
No.
what he.
No, it's
No.
not
This is
clear.
like, in the most innocent way. This is what it meant. So if they were to hug, that if he actually really admired her and was affectionate towards her in a very platonic way, but out of in a respectful way, it would just be like oh, I really care about you. Genuinely, I really care about you.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah, but
I want more of those.
what do you mean?
It's-
What do you mean you want more, freak?
It's so much weirder if they're giving hugs to everyone and you're like, no,
I'd want more.
I want
Yeah,
more.
it's weird that he declined it, because that then states almost
That he
the
had,
way that the relationship is that he had restraint, but then he invited her over for wine, so it's like,
It was a build-up.
so I can't hug you. That's inappropriate. But inviting her over for wine is not inappropriate.
If he had,
where the
if
fuck
he
are
had-
your boundaries,
Dude, Neil deGrasse Tyson is an incel.
Dude, if he had just hugged her, every once in a while, all that wouldn't have been built up, and he wouldn't have tried to catfish her.
Yeah, he takes off a mask.
It's not him.
Fucking Danny DeVito.
Dude, I love Danny DeVito. That'd be all right. She'd probably be like, Danny, and he'd be like,
All right, here we go. In the final week of shooting, with just a few days left as a capstone of our friendship, I invited her to wine and cheese at my place upon dropping me off from work. Where's his wife and all this?
First of all,
I mean,
he
I guess-
said, this guy said a capstone. Stop speaking so properly, dude.
So
And he
he-
also said I invited her to wine and cheese, as if that's like
An event.
thing of his.
So he's
wine
married-
and cheese. You guys want to do
Yeah.
a wine and cheese?
But it's only her, and he's married during this, but his wife must be in a different state because he's
Yeah.
filming
Out of town or
Cosmos in New
something.
Mexico.
And
yeah.
where's her fiance? Is he, I imagine, local?
Yeah, I don't
Started
know.
off loco.
I invited her to a wine and cheese at my place upon dropping me off at work. No pressure. From work, sorry. I serve wine and cheese often to visitors, and I even alerted her that others from the production were gathering elsewhere that evening, so she could just drop me off and head straight there or anywhere else. She freely chose to come by for wine and cheese, and I was delighted. In the car, we had started a long conversation that could continue unabated. Production days are long. We arrived late, but she was on her way home 2 hours later. Afterwards, she came into my office to told me... That's actually what it says! Afterwards, she came into my office to told me she was... Fuck you, Neil. I knew it.
That's a combination
I knew you
of
could fuck
to
up.
tell and told.
Yep.
She said to told.
So like I was saying, she came into my office to told me she was creeped out by the wine and cheese evening.
Is
She
the next
viewed,
day?
Yeah, she viewed the invite as an attempt to seduce her, even though she sat across the wine and cheese table from me, and all conversation had been in the same vein as all other conversations we had. So why use the, even though she sat across the wine table, or across the table from me, did he tell her to sit across the table from him?
It's also, yeah, it's weird that he had to say that. I mean, I know he's trying to prove his point, but it's like he's really trying to say, like, look, like, I couldn't have done anything weird. She's sitting across the table from me. You know what I mean? Like,
I couldn't
it's just
have,
weird.
Dude, I couldn't have done anything weird because she was doing everything in her power not to make this weird.
yeah, I was trying.
Further, I never touched her until I shook her hand upon departure. On that occasion, I had offered a special handshake, one I learned from a native elder on reservation land at the edge of the Grand Canyon. Oh, dude, he was on vacation and went to a tourist thing. You extend your thumb forward during the handshake to feel the other person's vital spirit energy. Now, can you please extend your thumbs forward to
I think it's
experience?
Nope.
All right. Now, do you feel the spirit energy, the pulse?
I don't like this.
Okay, well, Neil deGrasse Tyson goes on to say, I've never forgotten that handshake.
God,
And
man, don't say that.
And I save it in appreciation of people with whom I've developed new friendships. At the last meeting in my office, I apologized profusely. She accepted the apology, and I assured her that I had known she was uncomfortable. Oh, that had I known... And I assured her I knew she was uncomfortable. And I assured her that had I known she was uncomfortable, I would have apologized on the spot, ended the evening, and possibly reminded her of the other social gathering that she could attend. That's like, that's his excuse every time.
Listen, if you didn't want to be here, you could have been somewhere else.
Dude, if I knew that made her uncomfortable, I would have apologized on the spot. It would be funny if he said the same thing about the rape.
You know what? Why I call bullshit on this? Here's why I call bullshit. Whether what he wrote actually happened verbatim, or if he just explained it that way just as he wrote it, right? Either way, it doesn't matter. But the bottom line is that he had every excuse thought of and everything planned out so that it could, if it didn't work out like he wanted it to, he could say, well, I offered this happened, blah, 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 this is how it was. So it's like he covered all the bases leading up to him trying to seduce her.
He's a smart guy. He was feeling out the whole night. Like, the description of the night was that they were having wine. There's one thing. That's a thing that most people do when they're hanging out to try to fucking fuck.
There was acid.
There was acid involved. You know what I mean? He tried the handshake thing, which I think was also a move to be like, come on, let's see if there's a spark here.
Come on, this is all I got.
You know what I mean? Like, there were moments that could have, if she was interested, turned that into a sexual nature.
So one thing he fails to mention is what she said about the quitting production because of him telling her that she's too distracting to
Glanced over that
a
one.
producer. Yeah, didn't mention that at all.
He doesn't say anything about it. He doesn't deny it.
As far as we know.
He just says she nonetheless declared it her last day with only a few days left of production. I note that her final gesture to me was the offer of a hug, which I accepted as a parting friend. He doesn't mention the calling her distracting at all.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't mention the release.
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah. But he offers that hug. Or he accepts that hug.
But
the
not
last
the normal
one.
ones. Yeah.
If this is all I can get,
I mean,
should have accepted the others.
Bottom line, who fucking knows?
Truly.
We have no idea, but we're allowed to have opinions and talk about what we think
but he
amongst
does,
our friends.
He does say that this is an event that happened, which to have someone that works under you to do this is inappropriate.
It is.
Yes, it's because he's in a position of power, so it's inappropriate.
It would honestly be like Bernie
if you had me
or
over.
Matt or someone, inviting one person over, just them, when like one of their, partners are out of town or something, and then having just wine and cheese. You know what I mean? There's just little things about it where it's like, unless you're actually the best of friends, which it doesn't sound like they are, it's inappropriate.
And think about if you were the significant other of the person who was invited to go over for wine and cheese.
Like
you found out about that.
her fiance or something?
I'd be like, what the fuck? Like, you'd want to believe, like, I understand if you thought this was a work thing and you wanted to go, but like how uncomfortable you'd feel that your significant other went over to have wine and cheese with them and did that fucking handshake thing and he was in his tank top. Like, if he had even thought about the perspective of anyone else viewing that, he would have known, inappropriate. Or he didn't give a fuck and he was really trying and he thought there might have been a chance. So I'm going to invite her over as a friend. It's my fucking excuse here. And if it led to something, it led to something.
And it makes you think, because he is such a smart guy, that he knew all that stuff.
He's not a fucking idiot, man. I mean, he is socially awkward, as we've
seen.
But there's
Look, there's
yes.
There's like social awkward with the actual operating in social interactions, but not in your head.
For the planning of having someone over to have wine and cheese, like that's not social awkwardness. That's
like the social interaction,
but
or at least
there was planning there that you'd think even with social awkwardness you would fucking calculate for a second and be like, not okay, but who knows?
Yeah. So now we go all the way back to the early 1980s.
But before we go to the 80s,
we go to the 90s.
We're going to keep it right here in good old 2018. And I'm going to tell you something really cool. You guys ready for this really cool thing?
I've never been more ready.
Thank you so much to our second sponsor, Candid. One of our new sponsors. Thank you for giving us a shot.
Thank you, Candid.
Thank you, Candid.
So, Kib, and everyone here, have you ever had a problem with your teeth that you've always wanted to get fixed?
Come on.
Definitely.
What's that? You?
Another-
Nothing, man.
No, they're not going to do
All
anything
you
about
have to do
your
is
wisdom
brush,
teeth.
dude.
Yeah, you can brush and get your wisdom teeth taken out. You'll be fine. Well, I personally have an option that can help you, and that's Candid. You won't need to go through the hassle or long-term treatment of wire braces, and you could do it all from the comfort of your own home. This brand new company called Candid. They are helping people gain confidence through accessible and affordable orthodontic care. What's up? They can make the process of straightening your teeth convenient and easy by having the customer take the process into their own hands. And even though the customer is taking the process into their own hands, Candid's network of highly trained orthodontists review each and every case and directs the entire aligner plan. So you'll be able to do this from the comfort of your own home, and you won't have to go through long waiting rooms or long visits, taking time out of your day to go and have these things done to you. But you are guided by professionals, so you're not just given a set of things to put on your teeth without knowing how to do them.
Can I say how amazing that sounds? Because Alyssa's been telling me I need to get this gap removed because I keep squirting apple juice at her
You do that
when
on
she's in
purpose.
bed.
You do that on purpose.
You have the smallest gap known to man. My gap's bigger.
It's a fairly big, large gap.
Come on.
Yours is big, but it goes small.
I never even
quick.
noticed your gap.
Yours goes small, like into normal, pretty quick. Steve's is like consistent and long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets wider.
His is
at the
more
top.
noticeable than mine.
Yes, Steve's. That was like a staple of his
That's so weird.
face.
But the wisdom teeth, thankfully, they've come in and crowded a lot of my teeth.
Right on. So
Thankfully.
with getting straighter teeth, a lot of the times the process takes forever. Can be on average 6 months and
I had braces for 6 years.
6 years. See what
Wow.
I'm saying? Autumn knows. You should be reading this, not me.
Damn.
I
That
never
Didn't
read it.
help.
But so, as you can see, normal braces take such a long time, but Candid actually on average takes about 6 months with their service, and it costs 65% less on average than normal braces. And like I said, there are no office visits that are needed. Everything is delivered to your house, and you're guided through how to properly apply to your teeth.
That sounds
So they
nice.
make these clear aligners that are sent directly to your home and are customized specifically for you to straighten your teeth. And they can fix crooked teeth, crowding, protrusions, and gaps.
Do you have to brush?
Always. So the first step is to purchase their modeling kit, which will be sent to your home, and you can take the impressions of your teeth, and which goes retail for about $95. After you send back your impression with some photos of your teeth, they start working with their network of orthodontists, review your specific case, and provide you with a 3D preview of what your treatment will look like.
That's funny. Alyssa always does impressions of my teeth. Ew. You know?
I love that. I love
impressions
that
of them they speak.
Ew. But the coolest part of all this, and you can check out more about Candid's process on their website, but the coolest part about all this is that it takes on average about 6 months, and it'll literally save you thousands of dollars compared to going to orthodontists or using other services. Ooh. And so right now, before you leave, don't touch that dial. Right now, you're one step away from getting straighter, whiter teeth. Take advantage of Candid's risk-free modeling kit guarantee. Plus, when you use my dedicated link, candidco.com/pine, you'll receive 25% off your modeling kit. That's 25% off of this modeling kit at CandidCo, CANDIDCO.com/ say it with me, Pine, to get 25% off the price of your modeling kit. Thank you so much, Candid Co, for sponsoring this episode of Beyond the Pine. If you guys had ever wanted to do some work on your teeth, go ahead and do that. You don't have to worry about braces and the whole long process to do it. 6 month average, save you thousands of dollars. Go to Candid Co. Check them out. /Pine.
And now we take a deep dive into the 1980s. Neil, come on, Neil! Why'd you fucking do it, man? I trusted you, Neil. Come on!
Come on, dude. Hey, you can't be yelling in such a happy voice when you're saying this shit.
I'm not yelling in a happy voice.
So that music and your tone and yelling seemed like you were excited.
You were excited.
Oh, Neil!
No, you're laughing.
It sounds like he's
laughing,
like,
yeah, Neil, yeah!
He's cheering him on, man.
No, genuinely, if this is true, this is a very horrible thing.
Of course.
Early 1980s. I entered astrophysics graduate school directly out of college in 1980. It's a grueling adventure marathon, and many people do not finish the PhD, humble brag.
Hello? What?
Oh my god, dude. In fact, it was not uncommon for half the admitted students to leave after 2 or 3 years, finding some other kind of work in their lives. Why does he mention this? While in graduate school, I had several girlfriends. Dude, he just keeps bragging. What is this?
I had thousands of girlfriends.
I had several girlfriends, one of whom would become my wife of 30 years, a mathematical
3 of whom.
physicist. We met in relativity class. Over this time, I had a brief relationship with a fellow astro graduate student from a more recent and entering class. I remember being intimate only a few times, all at her apartment, but the chemistry wasn't there.
He was learning how to enter.
So the relationship faded quickly. There was nothing otherwise odd or unusual about this friendship. I didn't see much of her at the time. After that time, our student offices were on different floors of the building, and we were not in the same classes. A few years later, I ran into her, pregnant, with who I think was the father by her side. That's when I learned that she had dropped out of graduate school. Again, this is not itself an unusual fact, but I nonetheless wished her well in motherhood and in whatever career path would follow. Then why mention it at all? More than 30 years later, as
Is that
my...
your comment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than 30 years later, as my visibility level took another jump, I read a freshly posted blog accusing me of drugging and raping a woman I did not recognize by either photo or name. Turned out to be the same person who I dated briefly in graduate school. She had changed her name and lived an entire life married with children before this accusation. Why mention that she lived an entire life married with children before this
That's
accusation?
what we were saying.
What's the point of that?
It's
He's covering all his bases to create a narrative that she had gone on with her life and not said anything.
It's
And now
taking-
she's
Obviously,
saying
nothing
something.
could have been
Look,
wrong. because
he's
she carried
exactly. He's supporting the idea that she lived a great life, not addressing the fact whether or not it happened. He's building up this side support to everything. He's
very smart.
making you see the incident in this context.
He's making a narrative.
He is. That's exactly right.
But like within this context, not within a different context.
But he's also doing, like, by creating that narrative that you would think in his position as a fucking sicko, if this is all true, is smart. It's also not, because there's a big thing about people saying, like, you know, oh, they didn't say anything for so long, you know what I mean? And that became such a fucked up thing, because it was like, obviously they don't say something. They're damaged and they're trying to just get over it and get through with their life themselves. And then they build up the courage after years and years to say something. So, like, he actually missed, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't take that into consideration when trying to use all this, like, well, she moved on with her life. Like,
Yeah, he added a lot of unneeded information to build a narrative.
yeah.
That just-
Hey, Sam. Hi.
Hey, Vicky, did you hear about the Neil deGrasse Tyson stuff?
Allegations.
Hell yeah.
Later.
Thanks, Vicky. Hero.
You know,
Later, Bubba.
see you, man.
Have a good one.
What was I gonna say? Damn it.
You almost had it. Well, let me finish this.
You want
and
to talk
then-
about sharks?
Let me finish this, and then
Yeah.
hopefully you'll remember. For me, what was most significant was that in this new life, long after dropping out of astrophysics graduate school, she was posting videos of colored tuning forks endowed with vibrational therapeutic energy that she channels from the orbiting planets. As a scientist, I found this odd. Now, hold off for a sec. He's using her spiritual thing as a reason for her not to be taken seriously.
Yikes.
That's what this is, right?
Wait.
Because
Can
he's
you,
No,
can you
that-
explain why you
well,
think that?
listen to this again.
Yeah.
He found it odd that she was posting videos of colored tuning forks endowed with vibrational therapeutic energy that she channels from the orbiting planets. So,
how is that relevant?
so obviously,
Well-
saying that makes her seem a little crazy.
Yeah, he's also like been known
Yeah.
to say a lot that like he doesn't at all believe in anything religious or spiritual. He's like super against anything like that. So it's not out of character for him to.
But it
say
also
something
doesn't
about
matter
that.
right
In this
now.
context,
he
it's
is
like,
Oh, I'm not saying
he
it
is like
matters at all. It's
he is
just
like
not at all out
arrogantly
of his
yeah,
character.
he's arrogantly like
like,
against
oh, she's dumb.
Yeah, but this isn't
yeah.
a thing of arrogance. This is another narrative building thing where he's building her up to be someone that you can't take seriously.
right. No.
Yeah, I think he's smart enough. Yeah, because I was just gonna say too that you know, oh, maybe he's just like going to a socially awkward thing where like his brain's going like, oh, and preposterous about this as well.
And he's also trying to seem like more not humble, but
I think
more relatable. I guess
think it is more the
like
narrative.
More quirky.
For him to be like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That it's relatable, and you go, yeah, that is crazy.
And
And
the bottom line is that it doesn't matter in this story.
It's the narrative.
I think
You're
the point of that was more to be like, "Aw, Neil, that's funny that you'd think."
No, I think it's trying to discredit her in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, that's what Steve means.
It's a double whammy.
Yeah.
It's a discredit, and it's also you're reading that and
No,
you're like,
it's only one.
classic Neil. He couldn't have done this because he's so
it's
quirky.
one or the other. But yeah, no. Absolutely.
Meanwhile, according to her blog posts, the drug and rape allegation comes from an assumption of what happened to her during a night that she cannot remember. It is as though a false memory had been implanted, which, because it never actually happened, had to be remembered as an evening she doesn't remember. Nor does she remember waking up the next morning and going to the office. I kept a record of everything she posted in case her stories morphed over time. So this is sad, which, for me, defies explanation.
Hold on, pause. When did he start keeping a record of everything?
After he saw
it first came out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so he's seeing if there's any inconsistencies in her story. I was going to say, wait, from the moment that night happened, he kept a record? I was like, guilty. Yeah.
I note that this allegation was used as a kind of solicitation bait by at least one journalist to bring out of the woodwork anybody who had any encounter with me that left them uncomfortable. Overview. I'm the accused, so why believe anything I say? Why believe me at all? That brings us back to the value of an independent investigation, which Fox, Nat Geo, the network on which Cosmos and Star Talk air, announced that they will conduct.
Why do you say that?
I welcome this. Accusations can damage a reputation and a marriage, sometimes irreversibly. I mean, if I was married to this guy and he basically just admitted to this bullshit, even
That's
without
what I mean.
admitting to
that goes back to being the significant other of like, that was inappropriate. What do you mean you had that fucking girl over for wine and cheese while I was out of town or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked. Yeah.
I see myself as a loving husband and as a public servant, a scientist and educator who serves at the will of the public. I am grateful for the support I've received from those who continue to respect and value me and my work. Respectfully submitted, Neil deGrasse Tyson, New York City. The thing that bums me the most out about this is that I did very much look up to Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I think what he has been doing for kids that want to, reach for the stars, literally, figuratively, was incredible. I don't think anyone has related to or been able to make kids want to study and join in that kind of culture sense. What's his name? The guy who did the original Cosmos. I'm so stupid.
Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was one of the brightest stars.
Yeah. It's very conflicting when you don't know what happened because hearing that him like say, like I'm a public servant and stuff like that in this context makes me, like taints how I even view that because it feels like he's just using that to make you think better of him. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm a public servant. I'm an educator. You know what I mean? So it's like, it sucks because he is, and that's amazing. But also amazing people who do amazing things can still do terrible, terrible things. So that doesn't just discredit everything here, so it's very conflicting.
Yeah, no.
And I feel bad for all the victims if all this is true, and I feel bad for him if it's not. It's like, it's fucked. It's just we don't know.
Well, we know some level of it is true for sure.
Oh, some of it's
some level of it. Like the incidents took place. What happened during them is what's being argued. Yeah. But here's the thing, because I want to make a point of this, and you kind of mentioned this earlier, like the whole idea of the public council. What is it? Court of public
opinion, baby.
Right. So the court of public opinion.
Guilty.
We don't know. Nobody fucking knows any of this shit unless there was an actual investigation that happens. He knows, and the women involved know.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So, and I'm actually like, I'm not a fan of jumping on a bandwagon and trying to make that decision and tarnish somebody's...
But that's what we did!
No.
Oh.
We didn't. We talked about things. We talked about what we read. We talked about our opinions and what could be our opinions in certain situations. And I think that's what's important. You don't just say, boom, this happened, boom, this happened.
But everyone saw me doing that multiple times on this. They're going to think it's real.
Oh, fuck off.
Headline news.
But that's the bottom line, right? So we don't know what the fuck happened. We don't know anything. We don't want this to be true because that would be terrible in every sense of the word. But at the same time, we don't know. You know what I mean? We're talking about what we can kind of conclude from reading these different statements. But I don't think it's right to jump on a bandwagon and claim that somebody's guilty without knowing for sure.
Yeah.
But if you like want to decide not to fuck with him anymore because of these allegations, that's up to you. But nothing is known for sure.
Yeah.
There are times where things are known for sure, and there are times where things will never be known for sure. You know, it's something that happened in the mid to late 80s. Chances are there will never be hard-hitting evidence based on that.
So just make sure you keep a calendar of all the
Everything
nights
that ever,
you went out
ever
drinking.
happens.
Yeah.
You know?
Make record of everything that happens all the time forever.
And I think it's important to just find the truth in the situation. And speaking of terrible, terrible, terrible things that people do, horrible, fucking awful things, monsters can only do those things. Our next sponsor, I think it's a great time to talk about them, who we love very much. If you're carrying revolving debt, that means you're not paying off your credit card every month, and you could be paying thousands in interest every year that you don't have to. With Lending Club, you can consolidate your debt or pay off credit cards with one fixed monthly payment. Since 2007, Lending Club has helped millions of people regain control of their finances with affordable, fixed-rate personal loans.
Woo!
No trips to the bank. No high-interest credit cards.
None.
Just go to lendingclub.com. Tell them about your...
Yeah, I will. Yeah, don't sing and dance.
Just tell them about yourself and how much you want to borrow. Pick the terms that are right for you, and if you're approved, your loan is automatically deposited into your bank account in as little as a few days. Lending Club is the #1 peer-to-peer lending platform with over $35 billion in loans issued.
Wow.
So go to lendingclub.com/pine if you want to get your hands on a beautiful low-interest loan.
35 billion, that's almost as many people as there are on Earth.
Definitely.
Almost.
It's about half as much.
Yeah.
Check your rate in minutes and borrow up to $40,000. That's lendingclub.com/pine.
Pine.
lendingclub.com/pine. All loans made by WebBank, member, FDIC, equal housing lender. Thank you so much to Lending Club.
Thanks,
I will be
Lending
taking out a
Club.
$40,000 loan and purchasing a Fiat, 12 of them.
That's an impeccable idea, and I just have one thing to say to you. Neil, come on!
Neil!
Come on, man! We trusted you! If this is true, this is crazy bad! Damn it!
Don't!
Are you fucking kidding me, Neil?
God!
It's just a bummer.
Damn it, man.
Yeah.
You can't put the music on and say those things.
I'm bummed about it.
Yeah, it sucks.
That's
It's
like,
shitty.
I mean, you know, you got Kevin Spacey and people that
Robin
you respect
Williams?
in the...
Passing away.
Oh, bud. No, we're talking about something else.
Okay, I just thought we were talking about people we like.
No,
Jim Carrey's dope.
Sure.
You're on a whole other thing.
Sure, Jim Carrey's dope.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy's dope too.
I'm trying to pick this up, man. You're just making me sad. So I thought, I'm going to spice it up with some people I like.
Okay. Anyway, what I was saying was that it sucks when someone that actually does something real for the world. Not that Kevin Spacey and all them didn't do real shit, but it's
In this
I
case,
think
someone
this
who
one-
did something amazing.
In
for the
my
world.
eyes, this is more important. Neil deGrasse Tyson's far more important than an entertainer,
I agree.
which he also was. So that's why this sort of hits harder for me than other allegations like Louis C.K. or something.
Yeah, it's shitty.
Not that they matter any less, the allegations, but that this one, the person involved that has the accusations against them matters more.
Let's
to me.
hope that A, it's not true, and B, if it is true, the bitch gets locked up for a long time.
Well, it's not. It's bad if it isn't true because that does not help people that have real accusations.
Yeah.
No, that's the
There's
biggest.
so many horrible
So
things.
the biggest thing is that we're going to hope that it is and isn't true.
Yes.
Well, the only thing that would be worse is like, I don't know, if a president had allegations against him or something.
Like,
Oh, that would
I
suck.
don't know.
That would suck.
That'd be so weird.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like
Can you
that-
imagine living in a world where that was a thing?
Imagine if
No.
a president, like...
Well, you dated Trump for a little bit, right?
Right, how was that?
I did.
Dude, that's just the funniest thing to imagine. Like, Autumn just next to Trump, like in their fucking awkward walks from the plane. Just in Autumn's just like,
He just
Shipped
has
me
his
in
hand
from
over on her
fucking Moscow.
she's like, dude, Trump
Dude.
ships you everywhere.
Dude, why don't
This
we have
is
the tree on
absolutely
the podcast
tremendous.
set?
Huh?
Why don't we have the Christmas tree on the podcast set?
Oh, yeah, it should be in the background.
Oh my
In
God.
the corner
Yeah,
by the
We're
piano.
so stupid.
Oh fuck, let's cut and start over.
Can we just restart this freaking podcast?
These faking podcast.
Vicky, you want to cut to Vicky Cam? Do you see a Vicky Cam?
No.
Oh, is there no Vicky Cam today?
Oh, there's no Vicky Cam today.
Oh, damn.
Should have been.
Yeah.
That's all right. Next time.
Yeah.
I believe we're going to go live next time with the podcast. So when you guys tune in, unless there are any unforeseen issues, we will be live on Rooster Teeth first with this podcast. Yeah?
We have a new song out.
Damn right.
That's right. Go check out In Your Voice.
Oh, yeah,
it's on YouTube. It's on Spotify. It's on Apple Play. It's everywhere, baby. Go check it out. It helps us a lot. Right now, the main thing that we're trying to do is something fucking new and something we're passionate about, and that is the music storyline. We always trying to entertain up in this bitch.
Hell yeah. We also have some brand new merch out. It's probably our best merch yet. We've got...
I don't actually know if this is out
That's
yet.
not out yet.
What? Not out yet, but
check
it will
that
be.
out. That's
It will
for the
be,
future.
yeah.
So we've got our...
That is all fucked up.
Yeah.
That's out.
Boom, bitch.
Oh yeah,
you guys
the
want
black
one?
You remember the yellow one? This is the black one, and this is dope.
Dude,
So
it's
get one of
even
these.
fucking cooler than the yellow one.
Oh, yeah.
No,
by
no.
far.
Well, maybe.
Yes.
It's very cool.
This
It's
is the
so
dopest
fucking
thing we've made
dope.
ever. Which is a lie, because everything is dope. That we
And the
make.
G-string is dope.
The G-string
Oh, yeah, the
isn't
SP7
coming out yet.
G-string.
SP7 G-string is dope. It has all our faces.
You know, I showed Neil deGrasse that, and
Yeah?
I have a tattoo of
Does
the
he let
solar
you just
system.
call him deGrasse?
Yeah, I call him deGrasse, and
No, he
I
calls
have
him Neil deGrasse.
You know, I have a tattoo, of the solar system on
Yeah,
my
right
thing,
on
and
your
that's when Neil
crest,
he fucking tried to search for fucking Pluto, man. Come on! And I said, Neil, no, don't touch my G-string.
Yeah, that's fucked, man.
Did that really happen?
Yeah, James.
Thanks for
Autumn,
watching,
do you have
everybody.
anything fun to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Right on.
That leads us to the end of our beautiful, beautiful podcast.
But yeah, merch. We have, never mind. It's going to be done by the time this goes out. So forget about it. We have the music video. We got the merch. We got all of our shit that's happening.
The
Yeah,
the guys are going somewhere tonight. Wine and cheese at my place.
Oh, are you gonna take your shoes off?
Yeah,
His
probably
shoes are never
wearing
on.
a tonk top.
I was just literally thinking in my head, tonk top.
No way. Are you
Tonka.
serious?
That reminds me.
So stupid.
That reminds me of that game
Cool.
Tonka.
Oh yeah.
That's not a game.
Well, we've
Yes, it
really.
is a
It seems
game.
as though we've exhausted our
Tonka
talking
trucks.
points. I'm so sorry, everybody, that if you're still listening. What else did we not mention? We have a PO box. Did we mention that?
We didn't.
I can't tell you the last time we've looked at it, but we will very soon.
Notification bell. Turn that shit on.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
We have to
You don't
say at
want
the
this
beginning of the
channel to
podcast.
disappear.
Can we play
Vicky.
this in reverse?
Scream out to click the notification bell.
Click the notification bell.
Very weak.
Aw, see,
Like
you
the
want to make
heart.
her happy and click that bell, huh?
Yeah, you gotta make Vicky happy. She's not doing too well.
You gotta make her
Guys,
happy, huh?
Autumn, what's going on with Vicky? What's wrong with Vicky? Something's going on.
Yeah, something's going on with Vicky. She's something's going on. I don't know.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
guys want her to be okay,
Something's
click the
going on.
notification bell because something's wrong with Vicky.
Yeah.
Huh?
And that huh?
Yeah, we've got a documentary coming out called "Something's Wrong with Vicky." Huh?
We got a documentary going on. It's called Going Clear. Something's wrong with Vicky.
Huh?
Huh?
Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week.
Deuces, bitch.
Toodaloo.
We gotta send him somewhere. Do something about this.
Well,
'cause-
here's the difference, dude, between our generation and their generation. All of these like learning disabilities and shit didn't come out while they were kids. It came out while they were already adults, already starting to have families. You know what I mean? So like somebody who's 40s, 50s isn't gonna like believe all the new shit